Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today the President and COO of TStanes, which is a 150-year-old Indian firm which deals primarily with the products and innovations in the field of agriculture in India as well as on a global scale. Welcome to the show, Bakul. Please tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself, which part of the country you grew up in, and how you entered into the field of agri and agri-tech.
Thank you, Prashant, for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and also your viewers. Let me give my bit of a background. I hail from Gujarat, a small farmer's family. My upbringing happened in a farm in western part of Gujarat called Saurashtra region. I come from the area of Asiatic lions. I come from Gir Forest. My hometown is in Gir Forest. Since I grew in farming family and I was studying in a small village, um, I failed in 12th standard, and hence I had to give a second trial. And when in second trial, I had only got the marks to get into agriculture. Being a farmer's son, I was getting 20%, 20 marks grace to get admission. That way I landed in agriculture. Thereafter, I got admission in engineering, but I do not repent today. So I got into agriculture because I was farmer's son, because there was one failure. And in that percentage of marks, I got into agriculture. Thereafter, I did my graduation, I did my post graduation, I did my doctoral studies in agriculture, and possibly there was a blessing in disguise that I failed. Otherwise, I would have got into engineering or some other discipline. So this is my background, and this is how I ended in agriculture.
Excellent. And over the years, how has the Indian farming and the Indian farmer changed? What are some of the trends you have seen in the Indian farming sector over the span of your career, which started in the 90s?
That's a great question. In a way, because I have spent almost 35 years. One is my upbringing happened in a farm. And second is like I have seen 30, 35 years, I have remained in the field of agriculture. I have traveled in the countryside of India, almost across the country. What I've seen is the agriculture is transforming from subsistence agriculture to commercial agriculture, from food grains to more profitable horticultural and vegetable crops. Of late, mechanization is also improving. Of course, there are challenges, but still, I can clearly see mechanization. Third is access to information. Today, the best of the YouTubes in the field of agriculture are from rural areas. Can you believe it? Farmers, young farmers, they adopt new technology, they experience new technology, and they create content for other farmers. So, access to information has improved. One more thing which has changed is water use efficiency. In large part of India, wherever the progressive farmers are, they've moved from flood irrigation to very efficient irrigation systems like drip and sprinkler. More involvement of the youth and women also I see. And one more big change which I'm seeing these days is even farmers focus on sustainability. Like reducing dependence. Of course, there is a long way to go, but farmers have started realizing the importance of organic agriculture, or maybe integrated management of the crop. When I say integrated management, means not only dependent on the chemical agriculture. So these are the changes I am seeing, and these are all very, very positive changes, and government impetus also to bring those changes, that is adding to what exactly farmers are doing. And that's a very, in a positive direction, country is going to that way. Yeah.
Okay. So these days, everybody talks about organic products. What is a big deal about these organic products? Why are they expensive? Then what should I call the others? Inorganic products? Can you please explain to our viewers what this organic revolution is all about and what one should be careful about?
Yeah. So like there is one benefit India has, is the demography. A lot of youngsters, I mean, husband wife both are earning good money. There is a huge health consciousness. there is a hue and cry about chemical agriculture and overuse of chemical fertilizer and chemical pesticides, which is creating a side effect on the human health. And that is the reason there is a huge talk on organic agriculture. When I say organic agriculture, that means minimal use of chemical pesticides, minimal use of chemical fertilizers, even avoidance of genetically modified crops, and 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 like growing crops with minimum residues. And I will tell you, while there is a huge talk on that, but there are huge areas of concerns also. But these are the reasons. But there are two areas. People should not do a knee-jerk reaction. Sri Lanka is an example with us, right? And Sri Lanka, all of a sudden, they really gave abrupt, stop on chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides and all, and the entire economy collapsed. And because as such, there has to be an integration. Everything extreme is bad. But organic agriculture per se is the future. Why they are expensive? I mean, let me answer that question. When you go for organic agriculture, there are a few things there. It's one is it's labor intensive, because whatever you can do with chemicals, possibly you have to use manual labor, like for weeding and all. Second is productivity per acre will go down, and hence that those products become expensive. So this is one more area which is a concern. And then post harvest storages and all, because organically grown, output has to be stored. It requires a special care. It has to be segregated. So storage expenses. So these are some of the things which makes organic food little expensive.
All right. And you alluded to it a little bit, but how serious is the problem of pesticides and insecticides that are used in farming in terms of we ending up consuming them with the products that we eat at home? And what can one do at home to minimize this risk?
So side effects of pesticides are real. That I must say. So initially there were chronic pesticides, chronic poisons. Of late, all new generation products, pesticides are acute poisons. Chronic poisons means they remain in the system for a long period of time. Say, for example, DDT. Let me give an example. In 1942, DDT was discovered when there was a malaria problem. And, like mosquitoes were controlled, but when it was used in the farm, it created a green revolution. And Paul Muller, who had discovered DDT, he got a Nobel Prize. But when DDT was sprayed, the crop was harvested, it was fed to the cattle, it went to cattle milk. From there, it came to mother's milk. And at one point in time, when mother's milk was tested, there was a 10 ppm of DDT found in mother's milk. So chronic poisons that do not get disintegrated in entire value chain and entire food chain. But acute poison, that is not the problem. This is one area. In acute poison now, there are many chemicals. There are, you might have seen, I don't know, there are four kinds of triangles which are Central Insecticide Board, Government of India. They give those triangles based on the toxicity of pesticides. The red triangle pesticides, yellow triangle pesticides, blue triangle pesticides, and green triangle pesticides. So all those red triangle pesticides are very, very dangerous. So world over they are banned, but India still they are getting sold, right? I mean, whatever the coconut you drink, the coconut is given with a monocrotophos injection in the root, because there is an insect coming up. Now, monocrotophos is a red label insecticide, right? It is still sold in India. Of course, it is banned, but still you find that product in market. So this is one area. Human health is affected. Second problem of pesticides is, uh, like say we export grapes, we export basmati rice, we export lot many agri commodities in the European countries, in the US, in Australia, in Japan, in Middle East and all. Now, more than the tariff barriers, there are many non-tariff barriers. Like they test for the pesticide residues, and the moment pesticide residues beyond MRL, they call it MRL, maximum residue level, and it is measured in ppm, parts per million. The moment it exceeds a certain MRL, for every chemical MRL are are decided in European countries in Codex and L, the entire consignment get rejected. So in last few years, many of our export consignments got rejected because of the pesticide residues. Now farmers are not aware about it. Recently, I mean last 4 days, I was in Punjab and Haryana, and I was meeting many farmers. And one 11 years old child who was sitting in a farmer training program I was conducting, when I was recapping the farmer meeting, that 11 years boy stood up, raised his hand and said, he said, one of the biggest problem we are facing is our parents are using too many pesticides. They focus more on quantity rather than the quality. So side effects of pesticides are real. That I must say. Having said that, we can completely do away with them, I would not say. We have to integrate biologically origin, crop health products along with some pesticides, so we can reduce the dependence on the chemical pesticides, and that can help. Say, for example, cabbage, uh, brinjal, uh, uh, ladies finger, okra, all these every third day farmers use pesticides, and that come to the market. So for the consumers, you cannot avoid it. I mean, of course, we have to reduce. Government is also trying. We all are also trying to see that they reduce it. The biggest, so what we have to do at home is thoroughly wash them 3 to 4 times. Whatever the vegetables you buy, you wash them thoroughly. And once you wash them, possibly residues dissipate. And then once you cook it, possibly it will go below the permissible level. Permissible level. That's what at most you can do. Otherwise, organically grown vegetable, but there also in the name of organic, so many fake things are getting sold. So the consumers have to check the certification, whether that organic products are certified by authentic certification agencies. Greenwashing is not organic. Natural is not organic. There are organic certification agencies. They certify, and if at all it is, you are completely sure it is certified, then you can buy them. That's what you can do. Did I answer your question?
Oh, absolutely. And on that note of insecticides and pesticides, can you tell our viewers what is the concept of genetically modified crops, which everybody seems to be talking about? Is it already happening in India? And what are the advantages and dangers of genetically modified crops?
Genetically modified crops. It's a very, very hot topic, very, very interesting topic. I have two views on that. Uh, I was working for a crop protection industry, and there was a huge problem of one insect called Heliothis, and it's an international pest. An entire pesticide industry, 70% consumption used to happen to kill that insect. Because once that insect comes in the crop of cotton, I mean, let me take the example of cotton, because the biggest success story of genetically modified crop is cotton, right? So the thing is, it was very difficult to control pest. But then they brought genetically modified cotton. What that means? There is a bacteria called Bacillus thuringiensis, and that Bacillus thuringiensis generate one protein called delta endotoxin, and that delta endotoxin protein is very, very destructive, or it is a killer to that insect. Now that's a protein. Delta endotoxin is a protein produced by a bacteria, and that is controlled by only one gene. Then the scientists thought, if at all we bring out that gene from bacteria and incorporate in cotton plant, then plant will start producing that delta endotoxin. And when insect bites, then that delta endotoxin will kill this Heliothis insect, which is the most dangerous. And I tell you, when BT cotton, they call it BT cotton or a transgenic cotton or a genetic modified cotton, when that was introduced in India's market by a company called Monsanto, then now it is purchased by Bayer, it created a revolution. Like farmers used to spray 10 to 15 times to control that insect. It came down to one or two sprays. So number of pesticidal sprays went down. So one is chemical load went down. Farmers' productivity increased. So these are the benefit aspects of GMOs. So I explained GMO like, I mean, if at all, drought resistance. Supposing there are two plants, crop plant. One plant can resist in the drought condition, under water stress condition. But this plant is a high yielding, but cannot really sustain drought. So, and this plant has a drought resistance gene. So there are CRISPR technologies through which those gene can be isolated, identified, cut, and incorporated into high yielding variety. So now this has become a GMO variety having a high yield and drought resistance both. So if you for food security, I would say GMOs are very, very good. There are no apparent health concerns identified world over. There are no research papers where GMO crops have a side effect on human health. Nothing of that sort. But there are other areas which are the areas of concern, which I have also seen. One is it can create a monopoly, corporate monopoly, because farmers have to depend on certain companies. These are the concerns which are expressed by experts. That's the one thing. Second thing is like say Roundup resistant, like say when you grow cotton. This is a long answer, but possibly it will give you some ideas. So I'm giving. Say Roundup resistant soybean. That was also like so. Uh, Roundup is a chemical herbicide. So when you apply Roundup, it's a non-selective herbicide. So any green vegetation, vegetation, Roundup, or I would say glyphosate. Roundup is a brand name of a company. My intention is not to really promote any brand name, but glyphosate. So it's a glyphosate resistant soybean, right? Roundup ready. So glyphosate ready soybean crop. So now when you apply glyphosate, then unwanted vegetation will also be killed, but wanted vegetation will also be killed. Soybean crop will also be killed because it can kill everything green. Are you getting my point? But there is a gene which will protect soybean but kill other vegetation. So it is called a glyphosate resistant soybean. So now you have grown soybean. It was this technology was created by Monsanto because they had a product called Roundup, which was a brand name of glyphosate. So when you sow glyphosate, you sow soybean and apply glyphosate, soybean will survive, but all green vegetation will die because the crop yield goes down because of the unwanted vegetation. Now this solves both the problems. Are you getting my point? But there are two side effects. Now you continuously apply glyphosate, weeds develop resistance. Then even so they call super weeds. Then you apply 3 to 4 times the dosage. Like say people take tobacco, right? First time they take tobacco, there is small quantity of tobacco will take and they will feel giddy. Or somebody taking alcohol, first time one peg they take and they will not be able to sustain themselves. But thereafter they can take 5 pegs. Why? Because their body is resistant. Similarly, insects, disease, weeds, with a continuous exposure to the same chemical for a longer period of time, they develop resistance. So one is over dependence on corporate. Second, possibly are the concerns which are and this is a real concern is the resistance development. That means you have to really bring new products. Thereafter, even glyphosate will not be able to kill. So you have to think of some other chemical. And bringing one new chemical, it requires 10 years, 2,500 crores worth of spending on R&D to bring one chemical. So resistance management is one area. And third, the most important, long answer. See, cotton example. Today, like it created a revolution in cotton industry with transgenic cotton. But thereafter, when heliothius was not available, because heliothius was killed by transgenic cotton, literally disappearance of heliothius from cotton ecosystem. But in absence of cotton, heliothius, another pest flared up, pink bollworm. That's a huge problem of pink bollworm. I tell you, in last 2 years, cotton acreages have gone down because of the pink bollworm. So in the process of solving one problem of heliothius, another problem came up. A secondary pest, which was not a dominant insect in the cotton ecosystem, in absence of heliothius, it became dominant. So these are some of the concerns of GMOs which are existing. I hope you understood. While there are many benefits, There are no health hazards identified in a short term, at least not a single. But these are some of the concerns which are expressed, and some of the concerns are real also. So that's what the GMO is all about. I hope it's a long answer, but you must have got some idea about what.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for that, Bakul. Now, what is meant by sustainable agriculture? And can you introduce us to some cutting edge products in the world which are contributing to sustainable agriculture?
Yeah, so like sustainability or sustainable agriculture is a buzzword today, right? And sustainability is all about environmental concerns to be addressed, right? Social equity and social concerns to be addressed, and also the governance related issues to be addressed, ESG, right? And these are the three goals. So what it means to say is that whatever the production I do today in the field of agriculture to meet my current needs, I should do it without compromising the future generation needs. When I say sustainable agriculture, that means I cannot be selfish to think of a short term future of my own generation. I should maintain the productivity of my soil, productivity of the available cultivable land for coming generations to come. And that is what sustainable agriculture is all about. When you ask about cutting edge technologies, so many things are happening in the field of agriculture. So many startups are doing wonderful jobs there. Even I was also involved in one of the precision agriculture projects. So precision agriculture is one of the areas. When I say precision agriculture means uh, more efficient agriculture, more effective agriculture. Let me give one example of precision agriculture. Is like so basmati growers. So there are some diseases coming, some insects coming. Now, one of the insects called stem borer. Now, it comes and it will bore into the plant, and plant will die. So now it has to be controlled. So farmers do not know when to spray. So they give the blanket applications multiple times. So if they have to control one stem borer, they have to apply pesticide 4 to 5 times. So one of the companies was working on a precision agriculture project, wherein there is a trap called pheromone traps. So when you install pheromone traps, it collects all the male moths of that insect, stem borer. And like at multiple places, those pheromone traps are installed, and the data are collected and fed into a mobile app by farmers. And the data are collected from multiple sources. And through computer algorithms, you get to know when the pest population will reach at peak. So before it reaches the peak, you get to know exactly where I should apply pesticides. So instead of making repeated application of pesticides, you can apply pesticides when the need be. So if farmers are using 4 to 5 sprays, he can really manage that insect in 2 sprays. So this is one. Second is like using remote sensing and all, like through satellite imagery and all, you can identify what are the areas there is more insect damage, what are the areas where there is this particular weed which is predominant. So instead of doing entire blanket application in entire area, possibly those spots can be identified, and there you can apply pesticide. So like application cost, the cost of cultivation goes down. And so many, like, I mean, blockchain is getting used even for harvesting or spraying or weeding. Robotics are used. Of course, we are drones. I'm a drone application right now. I mean, there are many drones right now. We are working on our association, industry association is working on drone technology for application of herbicides and insecticides and all. So drone pilots are being trained now, and that can create an alternate source of income. So if per acre, if at all you have to use 200 liters of water, now you can control you can do the spraying with only 10 liters. So the water consumption goes down. It's a very effective, very precise application in the targeted area. Manual spraying happens, labor is tired, possibly he may not be able to spray well, but this covers well. So many technologies are in the, like one of the companies, the name of the companies is Plantix, and so useful for the farming community. In a way, some farmer cannot identify what the disease is, what is the deficiency is. So what farmer can do? He can take the picture of that particular leaf or a fruit and upload on Plantix app. It will immediately tell farmer this is this insect, this disease, or possibly this nutrient deficiency. Farmers cannot, but just by uploading photograph, he will, and then he will also get, farmer will also get recommendations to solve this problem, what you should apply. Now, these are the areas where very exciting work is happening in the field of agriculture. So I'm very excited about the future of agriculture with advancement of technology in the field of agriculture.
That's very encouraging, Dr. Joshi. But India is a diverse country with a lot of farmers who are having small farmlands. How can it be ensured that the innovations in the field of agriculture, which you just mentioned, reaches that farmer, that small kisan who probably does not even own a smartphone? Further, what future you see for agriculture in a segregated demography like India, where it is clearly very challenging when land holding per person is very less and the tech inputs and other costs become high if economies of scale are not achieved?
That's the biggest concern India has today, if you ask me. Right, small land holding. In 2002, I had gone to Australia to study cotton industry. The smallest farmer I met was 11,000 hectares, one farmer. And the biggest cotton grower I met, of course, it was a corporate farmer farming. It was 75,000 hectare cotton with one owner in a way. Are you getting my point? As against that, our average land holding in India is less than 2 acres. 11,000 hectares to less than two means less than a hectare, right? So mechanization that way is becoming little difficult. In this situation, what can be done is aggregation of the farmers, right? Say FPOs, farmer producer organizations, all right, and government is promoting like 10,000 FPOs. They have taken a target, NABARD and all. So FPOs means they really registered under Companies Act, and there is a group of farmers. Farmers become a shareholder. There is a board. There is a CEO they appoint who is an agriculture graduate or somebody. And, I mean, they buy inputs in bulk, making a deal. And then they tie up with the output buyer companies like ITC doing a lot of work in this area. Uh, and they sell output. So contract farming, like say, for example, PepsiCo, they enter into contract farming because they are into production of chips. The director, I know him very well. So because we also dealt with them, so they really enter into contract farming uh, with the potato growers. Now they are small growers. They are small growers. If they really do it individually, they cannot have access to this technology. But when they really work together, so supposing there are 100 farmers, they are all small farmers, they enter into contract with the with Pepsi, for example, or ITC for that, then Pepsi or ITC, they will give a complete package of practice to the farmers. And they work with us, like companies like us. We help them through our R&D. What should be the package? What is the right product to be used? What are the right varieties to be used? So they give variety, they give package of practice, they what are the products to be used, when. They also, there is a continuous monitoring, and then they enter into the contracting in the beginning, that I mean, we will buy your output at a certain price, right? And that way possibly things are changing. Otherwise, adoption of mechanization in India, particularly in the eastern part of India, it's very tough because farmers are very small. They still live in subsistence agriculture. Punjab, Gujarat, Maharashtra, these are the states where farmers are very educated, farmers are big, they understand scientific agriculture. There possibly mechanization, we can see mechanization there also. Chhattisgarh's farmers, one of the most progressive farmers, they do entire computerized farming in Chhattisgarh. So where there is an education, where farmers are big, mechanization is possible. But for the small farmers, where individual farmer cannot adopt mechanization, group of farmers through contract farming or FPOs, they can bring technology and mechanization they can do.
Awesome. So, apart from the small land holdings and the small farmers, what are the other main challenges that the Indian agriculture is facing today? And further, where does it stand as compared to the way the agriculture is done in the developed countries?
So adoption of technology, one. Second is education, which is another. Like say, for example, our farmers look at very short-term benefits. Like I mean, basmati growers like Punjab and Haryana, both the government have banned some 11 pesticides because they can cause huge MRL issues, and then export consignment get rejected and all. But farmers, in their short-term benefit, and then illiteracy. Like I mean, I keep going to the farmers. I must have conducted hundreds of farmers meetings in my life, right? They come to the farmer meeting. We explain everything to them. They do not make any note. They are highly dependent on the retail outlet. Now, retail outlet will sell only the products where he has certain benefits, right? And so, if at all per acre cost of cultivation or cost of spraying, maybe he can manage within 300 rupees. He ends up spending 1,000 rupees because two additional products are given by retailers. Second biggest challenge is, and I must say very frankly, is regulatory environment. Our regulatory environment is not very good. There are so many duplicate products are sold in the market. Fake products are sold in the market. In the name of biologicals, they are given to the farmers, but they are not in fact biologicals. Uh, and they are all chemicals. Like I have done, because I was a brand protection lead also once upon a time for few of my brands, and we were studying like how much duplication or counterfeiting happens, and there was a rampant counterfeiting, and farmer not being educated, those gullible farmers are cheated. So in India, 30% of inputs, like be it seeds, be it pesticides, be it fertilizers, they're all duplicate. And those gullible farmers, I mean, you can go to Google and see how many raids are done by the regulators, and they find a lot of fake fertilizers, fake seeds, fake pesticides, but ultimately still they find their way out. And that is same as the problem with China. Same as the problem then, like I mean, say for example, there are so many products counterfeiting was happening. So I was leading an industry association, and I went to meet the commissioner of customs, the highest authority in the customs. And we went and told him, and he was a very nice gentleman. And we told them that a lot of like products are important from China, which are duplicate products. Can you do something? Can you catch those consignments? So he said that if at all you can give us the lead, then we can keep track on that. Otherwise, thousands of consignments come out of, because as per the Make in India program, like I mean, most of the consignments have to pass through green channel. So we cannot really, like I mean, like millions of consignments are coming, we cannot do it. But if at all you give the name of the suspects, we can really track them, and then we can catch them. So many illegal products are getting imported in the market, and they're sold in the market. So these are some of the challenges, and farmers are very small, illiterate. They can't understand all those things. So we have to do more education of farmers, universities, extension machinery. Government is also trying their best, but still there is a long way to go for our country. Productivity again is very, very low because of all these issues.
Right. So, talking about the government efforts, uh, Dr. Joshi, can you please tell our viewers something about the Indian Agricultural Research Institute, also called the PUSA Institute, and its importance in the field of agriculture in our country?
Yes. So Indian Agricultural Research Institute is an education wing of ICR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, and they do a lot of really path-breaking research in the in plant breeding, in plant pathology, plant entomology, agronomic practices, nutrition management, all these areas, multiple. There are 18 disciplines in which they work. ICR, the parent body of IRI, they have created a vision document 2030 and 2050. Like, I mean, how we really, like, their vision is to how Indian agriculture should look. So they create a vision document, and they really help in framing the policies for the government, because they are technical experts providing technical advisory to the government to take right policy decisions. Plus, they do right research and development work, IERI particularly. They also work in the area of education. So IERI has three areas they work on: training, research, and extension. So training means education. People like us who get graduated, post-graduated, doctoral studies we do, postdoctoral studies we do from IRI. Many of my colleagues who have done. Then like research, they do path-breaking research as I mentioned. And third area they focus on extension, creating awareness in farming community. So and ICR they've brought thousands of Krishi Vigyan Kendras, extension machinery. So at Krishi Vigyan Kendras across the country, and that is controlled by ICAR. In almost every state, there are hundreds of Krishi Vigyan Kendras where farmers are invited, and they are given knowledge on latest what is happening in the field of agriculture, how to do scientific farming. So this is the work they do. They do a great work, but still one area which possibly all the universities and including our IRI, this is my personal view, they have to build, close association with industry as well, right? I mean, there is no very close collaboration in India. Like, let me give one example of Australia cotton industry. See, when a farmer has to spray pesticide, a spray has to be done. Farmer alone doesn't decide. Can you believe it? It is the farmer, it is industry, it is Australia government and Australia scientists. They sit together and decide what should be the next spray. Can you believe it? Why? Because if at all they go for the repeated application of the same chemical, immediately insect or a weed or a disease will develop resistance. For resistance to break, they keep changing the group of chemicals by which they can manage, because bringing one chemical takes, as I mentioned, 10 years, 2,500 crore. If at all farmer blindly use that chemical repeatedly, right? Quinine, you take the example of quinine for the malaria, right? Today, the quinine, you take 3 tablets, but still malaria may not be, your fever may not go down because of the resistance. Are you getting my point? So the way they work, all work in collaboration. Here, industry does work on its own. University or scientific bodies, government scientific bodies, or research institutions, they work on their own. There has to be more close collaboration, right? Of course, many universities, very progressive universities, they invite industry bodies and they discuss a lot of things, but still there is a huge scope of improvement. Huge scope of improvement. More collaboration is needed. That's what I strongly feel.
Joshi, you mentioned about some farming content creators on YouTube earlier. I recall that there used to be a daily program called Krishi Darshan or Chopal on Doordarshan back in the 80s, which, though boring for the general public, must have been very useful for the farmers in India. Do you think those kind of programs should be restarted on the media?
It has to be restarted, no doubt about that. Because but what I've seen, even even the state like Bihar, I found some YouTubers in Bihar also, right? So like when I wanted to really identify who are the key influencers who can really influence farming community, the best of the YouTubers I found in villages, as I mentioned earlier also. So the thing is, more such content has to be created, but the authenticity of content is a problem, because YouTuber, like, I mean, anybody and everybody, and some of the influencers are paid to say something, right? So authenticity gets lost. So if at all such programs are started through government, and government is doing a lot in that area, but this content has to be created by authentic sources, verified by the right industry experts or agricultural experts. And that content, if at all, is consumed by the farming community, it can make a big difference too. So to cut my longer answer short, yes, online presence of the farming community is significant. Yesterday, 2 days back, I was conducting a farmer meeting in Punjab, and at the end of the farmer meeting, one farmer came. He said, "I'm a YouTuber, and I want to have one dialogue with you." He said, "I'll create one entire program on your products because all your products are biological in nature. And they're very, very useful." And I'll tell you, I was working for a chemical pesticide industry. When I come to TStanes, we have all biological and organic products. I was also a bit shaky. How? So I traveled 2,000 kilometers in the countryside to understand what is the extent of adoption of biologicals. And I was amazed at the level of adoption. There is a huge awareness. So more we content we create on, because see, I must say, the companies which are into biologicals, they are smaller companies. Their market share is very, very low. So they don't have strong muscles power, money power. So they cannot build that narrative. But more such content is created by the users, right? By the beneficiaries. And if they are all authentic, I think we can really create a good channel for the knowledge sharing to the farming community. That is what I would say.
Dr. Joshi, you mentioned about your trips to Punjab, and that brings me to my next question. What are your views on the recent farmer protests, which led to the government repealing some of the laws? Could you explain to our viewers the perspective of government and the farmers in this regard, and what's your personal take on this?
So my personal take on this is, so all the three laws were in the benefit of farming community. That is what I can say. It's more of a political issue. So and there were many vested interest into that. That is also there. Uh, Possibly government could have formed some via media to really get this going. All the three laws were in the benefit of the farming community, except for one or two states where, or very few areas where there were concerns, and that too because of certain vested interest. And I don't want to get into that. Uh, and, and you might have seen it. I mean, that entire protest was concentrated in a particular area, and particular, states were involved in that protest. Possibly those states could have been explained, or maybe some compromise could have been made for those states. But because of those couple of states, entire countries farmers, like, I mean, decentralizing, or decontrolling the commodity sale and all, these are all in the benefit of farming country. All the three laws, that time I had given a lecture also on that, like how these laws are going to be beneficial to the farming community. But now it has gone into the liquid nitrogen, because see, uh, politics and policy, when they collide, it is the politics which win, and that's what I would say. I will not make much comment on that, but yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, fair enough. Do you want to call out some of the major cutting edge innovations, really at the bleeding edge, I would say, happening in the field of agriculture these days? As for example, I keep hearing of things like laser pods, scarecrows, robots doing the farming instead of human beings, and even the use of AI.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, like a remote sensing to map the weed areas, like, second thing is this precision agriculture. That is also one of the big area. Robotics for harvesting and all, which I mentioned earlier. These are some of the technologies which are in thing, like plantics, what I mentioned, like AI driven. I mean, so there are many areas. There are more than 700 startups are working in this area, right? Like laser labeling, uh, moisture content management, and soil testing, the pH measuring through remote sensing and all. These are some of the things which are really happening this day. Even drone technology, precision, like, I mean, even plant specific application, not even uh, the field specific, but the plant specific. Like, there are 100 plants in a row, and there are 5 plants which are inflicted, particularly Israel and all. They are working, and of course, there is a long way to go for India, but very plant specific applications. I mean, you go to Chhattisgarh, they do computerized farming, they do vegetable growing. Now, what they do is, they feed entire programming into the laptop. A farmer, can you believe it? and they fit entire programming into the computer. At what time the fertigation has to happen, at what time the irrigation has to happen, at what time what application of the herbicide has to happen. Everything is, put into the system, and at that time farmer is there or not there, that entire application happens. And that is happening today even in India. And those farmers are highly educated, and they've got their own conference rooms and projectors and all. You want to go there, you have to be qualified to talk to them. So things are changing, and this cutting edge technologies I can see is working, right? One of the projects I also did, and I found this very, very useful. It will really reduce the cost of the cultivation of the farm. Today the profitability is a big issue for the farmer. And if at all we bring this cutting edge technology, like say labor is a huge problem today, because youth are moving to the urban areas. So until they adopt this, cutting edge technologies, they won't be able to sustain agriculture.
Awesome. Now let's switch gears a little bit, and I want to focus on your magnificent career. So you worked at DuPont, which is an internationally renowned firm, for more than 24 years, and then you chose to join TStanes. Now, what prompted you to make this switch? Was it the lure of being a CXO at least once in a lifetime, which DuPont was perhaps not offering to you, or was it an increased salary package, or perhaps both?
This was accidental. If you ask me personally, definitely the title was definitely one of the attractions, why I chose to go there. Uh, but I got superannuated from DuPont and then from FMC, two multinationals. I spent my entire major part of my career was with two multinationals. They also gave me huge international exposure. Whoever I am, thanks to those companies, for mainly DuPont, it played a very significant role in my life. Uh, so I got superannuated. I started my training academy also, and I was, because I had a huge experience, 33 years of experience in Indian agriculture industry, and I trained 20,000 people also during my career, youngsters. I thought, I mean, I should utilize my expertise for the youngsters who are coming in the field of agriculture, maybe for the farmers also. I started my academy, and then TStanes is a known company. In terms of biologicals, is one of the most pioneers, 150 years of history. So I went there and I studied their R&D, I studied their product, all are biological and organic products. That was even more exciting. So more than the title, it is the company's product range. And there is a need to bring biological and organic for a sustainable agriculture. Dependence on chemical pesticide and chemical fertilizer has to be reduced. So I found, my God, I would be able to make a huge contribution in this area. The reason being, I've done my PhD also in biologicals. So my qualification, my experience of Indian agriculture, my background to farming community, my qualification, and their everything matched. So I decided to join them, and I'm very happy that I'm bringing the right products to the farming community, which can really preserve their soil, their environment, their crop, their labor, their birds, everything, their consumer, because all biological products are very, very safe. So those kind of products I'm promoting these days, and helping farming community. And I do that for while, yes, we have to do our business, but I try to help farmers very selflessly, because I feel if farmer smiles, nation thrives. अगर किसान हंसता है तो देश देश बसता है. तो मैं वही चाहता हूँ, इसलिए मैं किसान को तो डांटता भी हूँ, that what you are doing is not right. This is what, and they know that this fellow is telling something very honestly, so they listen to me, and I will keep doing it, whether I'm in a company or not. I'll keep educating farmers.
We applaud you for your efforts and expertise, Dr. Joshi. And you obtained your PhD in 1996 from Gujarat Agricultural University in the area of agricultural entomology, which is the science of insects. And yet
Yeah.
in 2006, and ask you this, you found a need to do your studies in management, obtaining a PGDM in marketing and strategy from the prestigious Management Development Institute, MDI, Gurgaon. Now, why do you think you needed that degree in management even after obtaining a PhD?
See, my career, I was working for an MNC called DuPont, right? And DuPont is one of the very renowned companies. When I came to the corporate office, all the people surrounded by me were all from IIMs or ISBs or from some management institutes. While I was doctorate, I was also equally qualified. Not only that, DuPont sent me to the US for my Six Sigma Black Belt and Master Black Belt certification. But I still felt that if at all I have to work in the business organization, I should have a techno-commercial approach. And hence I decided to go to the benches of management schools at the age of 45 years. And I tell you, there I met the brightest of minds like you, Prashant. And I should tell you this. I mean, I really put you at a high pedestal when it comes to the intelligence. So, such wonderful people I met. I spent 3 years and 60 people, highly successful professional executives. With them, I spent 3 years with best of the professors like Professor Damija and all, Bushnurmat and all. Like, I mean, these are the people with whom I spent 3 years, and it changed my entire perspective. I was doctorate, I was Six Sigma Black Belt and Master Black Belt, and then I was a management graduate also. The way I started looking at business was completely different, and that is the reason I came to the management schools. Possibly that was one of the best steps I took. Though, and I keep telling my all the youngsters, okay, keep upgrading yourself, and this is what I did, and it really benefited me a lot.
Excellent. So you would recommend it to others who want to study management while working full time. Is it
I
worth it and helping you out in the real world?
I would. If at all one has to work in the business world, one should go to management school. They should take management, and they should identify, institute like management development institutes, very renowned institutes. All the faculties, I mean, you would agree with me. I mean, one of the best institutes where we got the best of the education. Those classroom case studies discussions, and that too, that is done by all professionals, because it was an executive management program. All were executives coming from different fields, from different functions. My God, your entire horizon of understanding business changes. So I would strongly recommend one should do management studies only after some experience. Then you can relate to the business world and what is taught in management schools. There's a huge importance of taking degree from management schools. It will change your perspective.
Right, and you alluded to a little bit the professors and your fellow students over there, but we want to know a little bit more. Do you recall some of your favorite professors and fellow students from MDI, Gurgaon, and while you are at it, do tell us something about some interesting incidents while studying as a mature adult, being tutored by younger professors and having a bunch of fellow students who look more like fellow colleagues. You're sincerely
Yeah.
being one of them.
So yeah, like Professor Damija, right? My God, I mean, the one who took our accounting, all our HR professionals, professional Bushnurmat, like, I mean, like Professor Jain, who was teaching us marketing communications and all, right? And a couple of times I had an argument with the professor because he's a young professor. My perspective was different in the class and all. But I must say, they were also very, our statistics professor, I'm forgetting his name. Uh, but these are some of the wonderful professors, because as such, I was Six Sigma Black Belt and Master Black. Even our strategic marketing, Dr. Mukherjee, right? These are all some of the best. I mean, then they had invited me a couple of times. Then this one, like I am a Nagpur dean who was teaching us the quality management. He had invited me to speak on Six Sigma 7 times in Management Development Institute and IMI. So I built a very lasting relationship because I was also a successful professional, yet I was a student in management school. So there was a mutual respect. I respect them a lot, though they were younger, but they were expert in that in their area. Apart from that, like in my our batch also, I was the eldest. All the youngsters were so smart and talented. I learned from that also. So many such experiences I have, or rather, you make me nostalgic when I really discuss about our days of taking coffees and those aloo parathas in that canteen and discussing case studies. These are some of the great experiences I would cherish for my lifetime. Yeah.
Feeling is absolutely mutual, Dr. Joshi. But you've reached the CXO zone, haven't you? And command more than 30 years of work experience plus a decade of studying, pursuing a PhD. What would be your message to the younger generation of today who may have just started out in their careers?
So have done diploma in training and development also, and diploma in instructional designs also. And generally in training, there are three areas, and I can relate to what I learned there, and I can and based on that, I'll give the message to the youngsters. One is keep upgrading your knowledge, remain updated. Like I mean, in Bhagavad Gita it is said, yoga karmashu kaushalam. Excellence in work is the yoga. Would you agree with that? And to do excellent, for excellence to do the work, you have to have complete knowledge. Be impeccable with your knowledge, upgrade. Second is a skill. Whatever the work you are doing, you should be excellent in the work you are doing. So knowledge, skills, and third is the attitude. People's career get affected or career collapse because of the attitude, not because of the knowledge and skills. Maintaining emotional intelligence, maintaining composure as a leader, because many times in the professional career, ups and downs come. I've seen the people who are emotionally intelligent, they can manage crisis with the balance of mind. They are the people who have become successful. So having emotional intelligence, more collaborative approach, effectively conflict management, collaboration with the people around you, they play a very, very significant role. So all the three areas, knowledge, skill, and attitude, people cannot make compromise. So all youngsters, I'll give this message: upgrading yourself, be excellent in what you do, put your heart and soul into it, and maintain your composure, whatever the situation be. You would be able to find. Recently I read a book, Obstacle is the Way. So in that book says, it is written by Ryan Holiday, and says, if you are in a right state of mind, you would be able to take a right decision. And that is what the message I would give to all youngsters who will be viewing this program or this conversation.
Thanks for that, Dr. Joshi. And now I ask, what is your advice to folks who are facing a midlife crisis, or perhaps not, and are sometimes struggling at the age of 40 to 45?
So why they're struggling is because they don't have purpose in life, right? I mean, they don't have clear objective, their clear path. And people come under stress when they don't know what should be the path forward, right? That is where they don't find a solution. That is the reason midlife crisis comes. So if at all they really build a clear career path, they keep upgrading themselves, they maintain that emotional balance, they will not come under midlife crisis. I mean, I keep mentoring so many people, and they don't have complete clarity. Like, say, we live in stories. In one of the time, this is very, very interesting. We live in stories. Fact is different and story is different. I mean, in one of the trainings I had gone and I was taught there, like, this is a little long answer, but I'll give. Say I took a bicycle, 20,000 rupees I spent, and I took a bicycle. And my wife was telling, you spent money on bicycles and all, you will not do. No, I said, I'll do cycling. I'll do that. For 3 months I did cycling. And then cycle was under dust, right? And I was not doing it. Why? Every morning, 5 o'clock, I used to wake up. 45-degree angle, I wake up. Alarm is ringing. At 45-degree angle, immediately a story comes to my mind. Oh my God, I have to work a lot in the in my corporate career. My back needs some support, needs some rest. One story. Second, if at all I go for cycling now, if I come back late, I have to drop my daughter to school, and I am late. My daughter will be late to go to school, and there will be quarrel with the wife. Better to avoid. Third, my daughter wanted to buy a bicycle. So I convinced her, don't buy. You use this, you can readjust the seat and really, and she got convinced. Now in the morning at 5 o'clock, when I'm at a 45-degree angle, right? like I'm thought comes, oh my God, my daughter has really readjust the cycle seat. Do you know how much time it takes to readjust the cycle seat? 5 seconds. But I made a story, oh my God, I will have to readjust the cycle seat in the morning and all. It's better to avoid. How many stories I made in a span of 10 seconds, right? Alarm is ringing and I have to, like, I mean, switch off the alarm. In that 5 seconds, I made 3 stories. And what is the reality? I'm lazy. I'm lazy. So we live in stories, right? And the people who come under midlife crisis, they find excuses, right? They find stories not to do certain things, and then they don't find the path. Ultimately, they come under crisis and stress. So my message to all: don't live in stories. Don't live in stories, right? I mean, find a path and work on it. Work on it. And have a clear, I mean, they should read the book Men's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, or they should read Ikigai. These two popular books, they talk about the purpose in life. The people who have purpose in life, they will never come under midlife crisis. That's what my message to all of them. We live in stories.
Awesome. And on that note, please tell us, how have you kept yourself relevant over the years with all the changes that have happened around you?
So as I mentioned, like I had failed in 12th. I had only 46% marks in 10th, and I had failed in English, by the way. That is the reason I had to repeat. I studied in Gujarati medium, and that's the reason my English was so poor. And even in second trial, I had a difficulty passing English. But somehow I got 42 marks out of 100 marks, and I cleared. I'll tell you, that was a turning point. But like in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna came under crisis and he said, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. He gave multiple excuses, right? Why should I not really fight this war of Mahabharata? And that gave birth to Bhagavad Gita. At the end, Arjuna stood up and said, Nashto mohas, mitralabdhat, prasadan maya chuta, sthitosmi gatasandeha, karishe vachanantava. He like it. So he got a mentor to for Arjun to say Nashto mohas mitralabdhat. Now my old doubts are going. I have gained my memory back that I'm a warrior. I have to fight this war for a right cause, for dharma. For him to say, I don't want to fight, to say, I want to fight, he got a mentor. He got a mentor. Are you getting my point? So people come under crisis. They really have to find a mentor. I got many mentors in my life. So Lord Krishna doesn't come, having, like a basuri in hand. There are people around you. They will guide you to become successful. So my message to all of them: find purpose, find your mentor, keep working. So what I did, once I failed, I didn't started identifying my right mentors at the right time. Thereafter, I passed. I became a gold medalist. I'm not trying to make a self praise about myself. I became a gold medalist in my graduation, my post graduation, my PhD thesis, got a Chief Minister award. I did my Six Sigma Black Belt. I did my Six Sigma Master Black Belt. I did my diploma in training and development. I did my diploma in instructional designs. I did my yoga teachers training course. I became a Toastmasters member. I became the best communicator. I would say I improved my communication. I'm not the best as yet, but I improved my communication. I keep upgrading myself. To remain relevant, upgrade yourself. Otherwise, it's very, very tough. Competition is merciless, right? So for you to be relevant, you have to upgrade yourself. That's what my message is.
Awesome. You have been a trailblazer, Dr. Joshi. But did you ever think of quitting the rat race, what they call fire these days, financial independence, retire early? And what are your views about fire in general, where people, even in their 30s, are looking at that concept?
See, that's a very short-term thing. I don't know how. Like, I mean, see, at the age of 60 now, I'm 62. I still have a desire to work till 70. Vinoba Bhave was learning French at the age of 74. There is no age to learning. Why people come under midlife crisis, right? If at all they think of, fire at the age of 30 and 40, remaining, if people's longevity increases, if at all they have a purpose, they have really path in their life for the next 60 years, I have no problem. I have literally no problem if at all that. But ultimately, what will happen? That an emptiness will come at the right time, and that emptiness kills. Like I can give a few examples in my own families. The moment they got retired, the moment they decide, no, I want to rest. I don't want to do anything. And they had mind and they had illness. And they could not really they died within the next 5 to 7 years because they had nothing to do. And when you have nothing to do, entire focus goes on body. I have a pain here and I have pain here. I will have to go to the doctor. They will start medicating. And ultimately, so even at 60, people retire thereafter they don't do anything, body will start deteriorating. People are taking a break after 40 years. I don't know how they will manage their life for the remaining 40 years. I don't know if at all I consider average longevity as 80 years. If they really decide to break their career and at 40 remaining 40 years, how will they engage themselves? I have no answer. If they have an answer, I have no problem. But I want to remain working, contributing, remaining active at least till the age of 70. Because I can share a lot. That's what right? So I mean, see, it's a different generation. Mine is a different, I come from a different generation. Plus, I was coming from a very humble family, right? I could never think of, because it's my earning which can help many. That was so I had never thought of those fire, like I mean, at the age of 40 and 30, I'm still active and I will keep working like this. That's what my answer.
And Dr. Joshi, when I hear you talk, and hopefully you'll forgive me for saying this, I clearly sense a childlike exuberance in you. You have an infectious energy around you. Are you faking it or for just this dialogue, or are you always like this? And if you're always like this, are you consciously aware of it? And how do you maintain this attitude at this age, nearing 60s?
One is I'm not faking it. That's one. I mean, it's not that I'm giving this answer in a self-defense. This is my natural style. This is my natural style. I have trained almost 20,000 people in my life. So I have learned the art of handling audience. I know where at what stage I'm losing audience. If at all you are very monotonous, you lack energy, you pass on that negative energy to your audience as well. The moment you like recently, I read a blog and I could clearly relate to it on the room. So supposing there is an audience sitting, that's an HBR blog, audience sitting there, and the moment you enter in the room, even you have not uttered a word, you can convey a message that a guy has come and I have to pay attention. How you enter the room, how you stand, how you maintain eye to eye, how you expose yourself. When you stand, what is your confidence in standing in front of the audience? That itself convey a big message. And ultimately, like if at all, I might have faked it once upon a time, but fake it till you make it. That's my message. So this my energy is natural. I might have faked at some point in time, but now it has become my natural style. And wherever I go, at least I get this compliment that your energy is contagious. And I don't want to change myself. I'm natural, and I feel I'm good with that. Wherever I'm, yesterday also farmers, when I was conducting a farmer meeting, um, one farmer came, and few of the farmers came to me. He said, "ये तो बताओ खाते क्या हो आप? ये इतनी एनर्जी लाते कहाँ से हो?" I mean, I felt very good. I mean, this is becoming too much of self, like I don't want to sound narcissist, but I felt good about them coming. I said I'm pure vegetarian guy, but when audience is in front of me, I want to give the best to them. They are my customers. I want to give them, and that is the reason I put my heart and soul into what I do. So excellence in what you do is yoga. So I'm doing my yoga. That's the way I will put it.
Awesome. And on that note, you've clearly maintained yourself very well physically, touch wood. You are a yoga instructor yourself. What would your
Correct.
advice be to the people from various age brackets as far as their health is concerned? Something about the food habits, smoking, drinking, and so forth.
See, also, occasional social drinking, smoking, I'll definitely say no. Occasional social drinking in the parties, and that too remaining within the control, is fine. I have no problem with that. But if at all you become addict, I will not accept that. That's not what I would advise. Regular MEC, focusing on health is the most important thing. I strongly believe. I want to look fit, right? I want to look physically fit. I do not want to be dependent or a liability even on my daughters, on my, my kids. So long as I live, I want to live on my own terms. And that is the reason I focus a lot on health. Doing regular yoga, regular walking, occasional cycling, like dietary control. I mean, I most of the times being sick, so I get opportunity to stay in good hotels. Whatever the lavish, like spread there of the food, I will offer my dal khichdi, or I will offer my dal chawal. I'll not get attracted by anything until my body asks. I'll not eat, and there are timing to eating, right? I mean, by one latest I finish. By 7:30 latest I finished my dinner, and that discipline I have maintained, and that came from my yoga teachers training course. When I went for my advanced yoga teachers training course, we were 65 people from 9 countries. I was the eldest one. All, I mean, even yoga teachers trainings and advanced yoga teacher, basic yoga teachers training and advanced yoga teachers trainings, all were youngsters and all professionally successful people, architects, doctors, engineers, IT professionals, you know, like business people, and all young. I was the only one who was more than 50. And in advance, we were two people more than 55. The rest of the people were young. There are many youngsters, they focus on health because healthy mind will reside in healthy body has to be healthy. So I focus a lot on every day. I walk 8 kilometers every day. What man, if the entire day I'm busy, I mean, wherever I travel, I book my hotel closer to garden. All my team members, I have told, my book my hotel closer to garden. Every day morning I'll go for a walk. I'll walk morning 4 kilometers, evening 4 kilometers. If at all I have missed my 4 kilometers morning, I'll walk 8 kilometers in the night. That is the target I set. And then you take bath. Uh, it, you go to the bed, read 10 pages of the book, and excellent sound sleep. In the morning, you wake up fresh. This is what I do for my fitness.
That's inspirational, Dr. Joshi. Uh, Apart from your healthy habits, can you tell something about you personally? I'm sure everybody would love to hear it. How do you spend your free time? What are your hobbies? And perhaps tell us a little bit about your family.
Yes. So I have three hobbies. One is music. I've learned 8 ragas, classical vocal. So music is my hobby. I play harmonium. Second is reading. I have taken a target of reading at least 24 books a year. That means 15 days I should finish one book. Then only I can achieve that target. Uh, and third is like fitness. I focus on my health. So these are the three areas where I focus, and I enjoy my life. All the three areas I'm focusing these days. Of course, music I'm not able to do, but when I'm alone, my loneliness is filled by music. I keep singing, I keep listening to good music. Rather, I keep singing, and that really helps me. About my wife is also basic and advanced certified yoga teacher, highly spiritually inclined lady. She's MSc in food and nutrition. She was a lecturer at one point in time. I have two beautiful daughters. Both are social scientists. One is a country head for one of an American NGO. She studied from London School of Economics and Sciences for Paris. Very qualified, very successful girl. Younger one, a very, very kind at heart, studied from Flame University. Very, very sport. 15 days she watched entire Olympics on mobile phone, on iPad, on laptop, on TV. All the events, all 15 days. And anything you ask about the sports of the world, she can explain. Now she has joined a sports club after completion of her graduation. She may go for post graduation on the sports policy. So this is what my family, and I'm very, very proud son of a farmer. Uh, Unfortunately, my father passed away at the age of 94 years last year. So this is what my background is.
And Dr. Joshi, you mentioned your love for music and singing. Would you like to hum something for our viewers? Take a stab at it.
Okay, so I'll one Rag Sarang, and I'll just narrate one of the song which I learned during my classical vocal classes. So the song is like बना बना ढूंढ न जाऊं बना बना ढूंढ न जाऊं कितहूँ छुप गए कृष्ण मुरारी कितहूँ छुप गए कृष्ण मुरारी बना बना ढूंढना शीशा मुकुट और कानन कुंडला बंसीधर मन रंग फिरत गिरी धारी बना बना ढूंढना जाऊं बना बना ढूंढना जाऊं. Thank you.
That was awesome. That was
Thank you.
really wonderful. The way you made the rendition of this raga and may the music remain in your life. It was wonderful talking to you, Bakul Da. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been in a delightful and an insightful conversation with the President and COO at TStanes, Dr. Bakul Joshi.
Thank you so much, Prashant. It's always delight to speak to you. Thank you so much.